Indeed, internal forces in Iran thrive on anti-Americanism. Depends on the forces. Some internal forces in Iran thrive on anti-Americanism. There are many other ones that will thrive if Iran and United States had better relationships with each other. Again, it's not a monolith. It depends on the forces that you're talking about. The Iranian military and intelligence bodies, which are made up mostly of hardliners, use America as a political foil within Iran. Yeah, by the way, also, another thing that depends, even the parts of Iranian's government that thrive on anti-Americanism, they have their limit. There are certain level of sanctions that makes even them start choking and grasping for air. Okay? Even the ones that they love anti-Americanism and they think the more hostility exists between Iran and United States, the more they benefit. There's a limit that you could increase the sanctions to that they start tapping out. The strategy has paid dividends in recent elections, with the hardliners decisively winning parliamentary elections following the reimpositions of the U.S. Yeah, that is true. Earlier, because of when United States backed out of the deal, that was a gift to the hardliners. They were dancing around figuratively. Dancing is haram for them, but they were figuratively dancing, saying to everybody else in Iran, "I told you so. I told you so." The deal with the United States was a bad idea, and it made the hardliners a lot more powerful. Okay, that is true. But right now, I think even the hardliners are like, the sanctions are too crippling right now. Too crippling even for the hardliners' taste. Again, there are still some forces in Iran's government that still prefer the situation that sanctions right now more than deals with United States. But the more strategic, even hardliner elements right now, they're like, this is getting a little bit, it's getting a bit too much right now. Like, come on, guys, maybe we should find a way. They were doing a lot of grandstanding and be like, oh, United States could do nothing to us, ha ha ha, bring on the sanctions. But right now, it seems like they're like, how can we stop the sanctions without looking like pathetic and looking like we're going back on like, hey, bring on the sanctions, we don't care, right? So that's very tricky right now for the hardliners in Iran to keep acting like they are the ones they are the ones calling the shots. United States is the weak one, while at the same time going back and doing a deal with the United States once and if Biden wins. Okay, that's a very and again, no matter what they do, they're going to be called out as hypocrites once they do that. So they're going to try to like play it cool and be like, we said we're never going to sign a deal with the United States. Well, about that, again, they might be forced not to sign a deal with the United States, but they probably want to when Biden wins. But they have to figure out how to do it without looking like hypocrites. But no matter what they do, if they sign that deal, they're going to look like hypocrites. The only way they could go sign a deal with Biden without looking like hypocrites is to pretend like because the moderates in Iranian governments, they're not really moderates. They're just the puppets of the hardliners, okay? But they're used for the hardliners to do something that they don't want to do and pretend like it wasn't them, it was the moderates. So if they could get the moderates, make them act like they sabotaged, that they secretly acted against the hardliners, and it wasn't the hardliners who did that signing with the United States, it was the moderates, then the hardliners could throw the moderates under the bus. But the moderates are okay with being thrown under the bus because that's what they're there for. That's how they're relevant, right? So they're like, hey, it wasn't us, it was these idiots. Be angry at them. That's one play. That could be one play. It would be costly to any political faction faction. So this is the article. A thing is another stupid thing. I think it would be costly to any political faction in Iran to trust the U.S. again, just as it was for President Hassan Rouhani. So it's unlikely that even moderates would tie their political fortunes to an American lifeline. Well, they're doing it right now, you idiot. The moderates are going even like Rouhani is right now. Like Khamenei is pushing it, like, hey, I can't say this. I'm gonna look like an idiot. So he's pushing they're pushing Rouhani to go out and say, like, hey, maybe we should talk to, maybe we should talk to America. Like a lot of hardliners in Iran are now like, what Rouhani? Are you serious? Do you think we could trust the United States after they threw away the deal that we already signed with them? Are you now going to tell us that we need to go back and talk to the United States? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, God, Khamenei, I'm looking like an idiot here. I'm telling people to trust the United States. Like, and Khamenei, like, yeah, that's what you're here for. You're here to look like the idiot instead of me looking like the idiot. Okay, so go around and look like an idiot for me, please. Thank you. So again, whoever wrote this article has no idea that yes, the people who support the Islamic Republic, they're going to be like, why would you trust the United States again? But the answer is they don't have a choice. They don't have a choice. The sanctions are crippling. The sanctions are crippling. They don't have a choice. They don't have an air to breathe right now. They might have no other choice. They act like they have a choice, especially after the China deal, but they're desperate. They're desperate. So what's the better explanation for Iran's alleged attempts at election interference? It's the broader context of U.S.-Iran tensions, which are unlikely to diminish anytime soon, regardless of who's in power in January. A series of cyber-related arrest warrants were issued for alleged Iranian hackers by United States Justice Department in September, along with new Treasury sanctions against Iranian agents. In October, the Justice Department seized internet domains owned by the Revolutionary Guard and its Iraqi proxies. This follows the recent U.S. attempts to unilaterally enforce arms restrictions on Iran, which prevented Iran from buying conventional weapons like tanks. Well, that's a good move. This is a good move. Here, look, I can congratulate the Trump administration on things, even though I don't like that Trump administration. Look at this. Arm restrictions on Iran. Yeah, thank you. Finally, finally I can say something. Hey, thank you, Trump administration. This was a good move. I can say that. I could say I don't like the Trump administration, well, by congratulating them on something when they do it right. I mean, why was this not even there before? Why was this like arm restrictions on Iran needs to be to the max? Like tanks or missile system, and to sanction what are among the last remaining financial institutions in Iran. Yeah, I support this. Guys, I support this. I support these sanctions. Iran's reported elections interference is a reaction to that wider escalation. Iran isn't willing to risk a war with the U.S., opting instead for instances of low-intensity retaliation. In this case, one that Americans are particularly sensitive to. Beyond the ease of conducting this disinformation operation, Iran likes to drive the narrative that the United States will collapse and the U.S. elections are fraudulent. Imagine Iran saying that the United States elections are fraudulent. Oh my God, God damn it. Self-awareness below zero. Wait, I don't know how to say this word. Hold on. New word. What? It's not even pronouncing it. Google, you're failing me. Alright, I'm not going to read it. The United States political climate presents an opportunity for the narrative to have appeal. Presents an opportunity for that narrative to have appeal. Using the Proud Boys to foment discord also corrodes American credibility internationally. Hey, yeah, I agree with this article for once. By showing the fragility of American democracy in the face of illiberal domestic actors. This latter point is important to Iran's long-term strategy, since Iran sees its diplomatic engagement with Europe and China as more realistic and reliable than any rapprochement with the United States. The international ramifications of U.S. extremists influencing elections would help deepen existing divides between the United States and its European allies. No, that's bullcrap. That's bullcrap. United States has a lot of influence on Iran's economy, guys. Even okay. So let me tell you how nonsensical this is. Okay, so to say that Iran doesn't care about its relationship with United States because it's more realistic for them to focus on Europe and China, that is such nonsense. And I can tell you, let me tell you, the Iranian currency, okay, in the past year has taken a nosedive because of the relationship with, or the lack thereof, with United States, okay? And when Trump got the beer bug, the COVID, I don't know what to call it. You know what I'm talking about, right? I don't want to say it on YouTube, okay? When Trump got sick, guess what happened? The currency, Iranian currency, just recovered a lot. Didn't go all the way back up, but it just like went back up. And then when Trump recovered, then it went back down. Like it was like, I don't know exactly how it worked, but the news of Trump's getting sick or getting better or getting sick, it kept on. Iranian currency was going like bing bing, like just like so like, and people were so amazed at how much Trump dying or not dying was having an influence on Iran's currency going up and down. Like just the idea of Trump getting sick was making Iran's economy acting like it's a ping pong ball. So imagine your country's economy to be that much dependent on the health of a president of another country. And then you're gonna go like pretend like, oh yeah, we don't care about the relationship. Oh, United States, what? Which country? Who's Trump? Who's Trump? Oh yeah, no, we have other countries that we care about. Oh, Europe, China. Yeah, sure, buddy. Sure. You could go out, you could tell yourself that. Really, Qasem? Did he say that? Oh my god, he's really. Really, did he say that? I man. I don't know if he actually said that, but that's insane if he said that. All right, the United States European partners have already denounced American sanctions against Iran, and the EU-US relationship is based in large part on shared democratic values that the Proud Boys stand against. Iran's email disinformation isn't about influencing the outcome of the US elections. I agree with this. Even though Iran's officials do care about who wins, this disinformation campaign, I don't think it was about that. So I agree with this, but the reasoning for this article brings up, I think it's nonsense, okay? It's about optics. The idea of extremists manipulating democracy towards their desired end is intolerable to Americans. Likewise, the idea of an undemocratic superpower is disconcerting to U.S. allies. Iran only amplified the existing fears that Americans and their friends abroad already harbor. Yeah, that's true, but again, if your reasoning for this is that Iran's government doesn't care who wins, that reasoning is flawed. Oh, here we're done. Thankfully, Iran's Proud Boys emails, while disconcerting, don't threaten Americans' democracy. Only our own loss of confidence in voting would do that. The remedy is at the ballot box because it confirms the resilience of our democracy and our continued faith in it. Yeah.